This is the iBuyer Experiment Podcast, how technology is changing real estate, with your hosts, Kayla Leos, Jason Leos, Keith Howard, and Elliot Tomaszewski. Please consider subscribing so you're notified when we launch a new podcast. Let's go.
What up? We have a great podcast today. I'm super excited. Here's a quick recap of what we're talking about. Rent moratoriums, pent-up evictions and foreclosures, and the impact of the hurricanes on the real estate market. We're going to talk about cool tech geared towards helping homeowners build wealth. That would be Homebot, and their recent acquisition, the impact of that on the future of real estate. How Zillow offers is still going strong, and they opened in their first new market since COVID. What market did they open in? We're also going to talk about Orchard. They're making a massive claim to transform the way real estate is sold, the way Amazon did e-commerce, raised another $69 million, and all that money flooding into the real estate space. So that's what we got today. Let's start with the rent moratoriums and pent-up evictions and foreclosures, Keith.
Yeah, so it's nice that we've gotten some new stats on that because, you know, with the relief program, not being able to foreclose on tenants right now, we don't really know what the future holds on that, but there's some new stats out that kind of starts painting a picture, and it's really interesting. So here's a stat I didn't know. I knew that the unemployment, was really high, like over 40 million, but per Zillow reporting that 32 million Americans received unemployment benefits. So I didn't actually realize that many people were receiving those unemployment. Well, we know as of right now that's gone. As far as receiving the additional bonus right now, and since Congress hasn't been able to come up with something that will further extend it, it's kind of like, okay, well, what's that really going to look like on the housing market?
Well, President Trump did add like $400 extra, right?
Yeah, 400. Yeah, I went from $600 to $400.
Some states have adopted that, and they're giving like $300 to $400 extra.
See, I thought that was proposed. I didn't know it was passed.
Yeah,
yet.
No, it's going right now.
Okay. So there's still a lot of people making more money being on unemployment than if they were employed.
Some states.
States, yeah.
Well, what's interesting to me, though, is you have clearly an astronomically high amount of people on unemployment, and you have these rent moratoriums in place and foreclosure moratoriums. And so if you're a landlord and you can't evict someone and they've not been paying since March,
That's tough.
Like Keith's point is what is going to happen to all this inventory?
Well, if it's a Fannie or Freddie loan,
it's gonna
then
flood.
they can not pay their payment too, right? There's
Right.
deferments. So yeah, I mean, it's all going to all of a sudden stop like that, and then
It's rolled uphill right now versus downhill.
Yeah.
and then all those people on unemployment, why aren't they making their payments?
Especially if they're getting exactly. If you're getting $4,000 a month to sit at home, why aren't you making your rent payment or your mortgage payment?
Hello. They don't know that. I don't know if
that's just
a
conspiracy theory,
right? But it said that 22% in the week of July of apartments, and this is a little bit separate than single-family units, did not pay their rent. 22% of all U.S. apartments.
Are you
people
22%? Oh my gosh!
Did not make their July rent.
That's like 08 crash numbers.
That's over 1 in 5
Or 07.
people in an apartment did not make their
That's
their
insane.
payment.
Yep, and that's up 19.2% of the first week of June. So people are now making less rent starting in July. I don't know what August and September is. I don't know if those stats have come out yet. That's why I said that snowball effect is starting already to happen.
Some of these people were effectively double dipping by taking unemployment and not paying their mortgage or rent.
I mean, maybe, right? But I guess
It sounds like they were hitting on both sides.
I mean, if you look at the numbers, it'd be hard to.
What I want to know is, so if this is the case in that environment, you don't make your rent payment, you end up getting evicted. What's happening to the credit reports, stuff like that? I mean, because obviously, I mean, if you don't, the biggest thing for like a tenant is, do you have an eviction? Right. It doesn't show up if you're 30 days late, 60 days late, 90 days late, right? Depending on what the landlord does. I mean, we all know most time 5-day pay or quit and they're kicking you out. But with that said, I wonder what that's going to look like. Because again, if you wanted to be crazy conspiracy on that. What if you saved the money, didn't get the credit hit, now you saved your down payment by not making.
Well, there's a lot of people that are going from rental
terrible.
places into buying homes right
That's
now.
dirty.
Yeah. Now here's where it's hitting the single family market and property management companies. So if you're a property management company and you have a big portfolio and a high percentage of those aren't paying the rent, well, guess what? They're not getting their 8 to 10%. What is that 8 to 10%? Help them pay their employees,
Oh, yeah.
their office costs, and maybe their own potential personal income. So they're also taking
That's a hit
right now.
Yep.
And now here's how it's affecting the actual homeowners. It says right here that most of the potential rental income is absorbed by common costs of the property of ownership. They say about 53.8% of the income received by rent is absorbed for property costs. So if homeowners aren't actually getting that rent, they're now, per the stat, eating an additional 53.8% that they would need just to even upkeep the property.
To manage the property, yeah.
To manage the property, whether that's their own mortgage that they have on it, property taxes, paying HOA.
That actually seems low to me.
Oh yeah, like the water heater going out, right, with the tenant. I wonder what. There's got to be some interesting conversations going on
So
around that.
when are the moratoriums in effect till, Keith? The end of the year?
I think so, yeah. Because this next article kind of, I feel, rolls in pretty good to what we were just talking about. It says there's a speculation per Adam Data Solutions. It says potential 13 million evictions loom later this year.
Wow.
That's what
13 million.
That's what the speculation is.
Wow. You wonder. I mean, those people are on unemployment though. You got two people that are on unemployment making like $7,000 a month,
I know.
and then they were. I mean, I guess now it's less, but they just weren't paying their mortgage or their rent either.
Well, I think you have a lot of people too that were nervous, right? So maybe
They're like
not
hoarding all their cash. They're holding on to it and
Right.
not going to pay their rent. They're going to.
And maybe they're hoping for some sort of workout plan, right?
Yeah, I think that is probably what's going to happen.
Yep.
You know, just like we saw with the forbearances and the wraps, you know, back in 7, 8, 9, well, I guess it wasn't, didn't really, 8, 9, 10, you know, all that type of stuff.
Back in the day.
So Zillow, Jay.
Yeah, so Zillow Offers opened up their first new market since COVID, and it is the 4th market in the state of Florida, Jacksonville. So they are on the move. I'm not sure if OfferPad or Open Door has
Expanded it all.
expanded yet since COVID. The article doesn't say anything about that, and I don't think they have.
Well, we all know
But,
they've expanded into trying to be real estate brokerages.
Right,
absolutely.
right.
That was
They
our
are the
last
new
podcast.
brokerage. But, you know, I think that OfferPad was already in Jacksonville.
Yeah, OfferPad was already in Jacksonville. Zillow Offers is live now, and this is their 25th market.
Wow.
They have been super aggressive expanding through when you really think about it. You know, like we talked about last time, they're being publicly traded. They have the money obviously to do that, where the rest of these guys are having to go raise private capital.
It always makes me wonder. It's like, let's say OfferPad was in Jacksonville. I think they were out there by themselves, weren't they?
Right.
Yep. They were.
They're probably like,
Oh.
gosh, dang it.
Oh yeah.
Why'd you have to come out here? Why don't you pick a different market?
Do you
And
think
then-
Brian Bear has like a poster of Rich Barton on his wall and he throws darts at him?
Probably.
no more dominating that market.
Yep. So then that's their 4th Florida market after South Florida, Tampa, and Orlando. So
Yeah, I mean, did they talk about what their expansion plan is? Because again, the narrative just continues to grow. I mean, everybody was thought the iBuyer was dead after COVID, but all the data and stats are telling us otherwise.
no information about that, but it seems like they're on the move. That they're going to continue growing. I mean, they're not slowing down.
Well, their value proposition is irresistible, and let's face it, Zillow is a household name.
Oh, yeah.
You know, anyone under
most
25
eyeballs.
talks about Zillow. I think that, I mean, I use Zillow. I look for homes all the time in other states just because I want a second home, and I'm always on Zillow. Always.
Too.
I'm pretty
Well,
much a daily user
If
myself.
memory serves me, they're the number one website in real estate, right? I think when I did that research on a little bit before, I think they
Exactly,
are the
yeah.
number one real estate website.
Yeah.
So they ran a survey too, and they found that 43% of respondents said they would likely try to sell online during the pandemic, and 33% said they would even try even after the pandemic ends.
Wow.
Wow.
Selling online.
So that shows that trend's going nowhere and only going to continue to grow.
Well, and
Yep.
you know the thing that I want to bring up in what you're talking about there that I find so unique when we start talking about the money and where all this, literally, hundreds of millions / billions of dollars come from, is I remember my thought was originally that it was going to be the race to go IPO for a lot of these people. Well, but like Open Door, one of their largest investors is Lennar Homes. They are publicly traded. So when you can partner with a company
Or
that can
SoftBank.
or SoftBank.
I think SoftBank
Right.
is their largest.
When you think about it, how genius is that though? Hey, that's cool. I'm just going to pull an investor that is publicly traded, so I don't have to answer to the SEC and all of those types of things too. Again, it's just, I think it's really interesting when you can draw from the never-ending fountain of money, but yet keep it private.
Yeah, it's definitely a good play from a playbook that hopefully one day we will steal from.
Well, very soon.
With Zoodealio.
Very soon. Cool. So Orchard, what do we got going on with that ship?
Orchard is interesting. So Orchard was formerly Perch. Not sure if you guys remember that, but they rebranded and recently have raised another $69 million. Court Cunningham, their CEO, he has said that they are going to transform real estate the way Amazon has transformed e-commerce. So quite a claim. I think in total, Inman said in total that they've raised $138 million, but I was on Crunchbase and it looks like it's more like 355. So some of it might be debt service. Yeah. But the interesting thing is, though, is if you look at their value propositions, they're kind of amazing. And it just makes me think that the future of real estate is going to look a lot like the big brokerages being Open Door, OfferPad, Zillow, instead of RE/MAX.
Yeah,
Century
well, just
21,
instant solutions, right?
Exactly, right. Because if you go to Orchard, they focus on buy your next home in cash. And that's one of the things that we do with our software with Zoodealio. They also give you cash offers, and they also allow you to essentially trade in your home. So all of these value propositions are kind of irresistible to the consumer. I think that Orchard is going to probably end up being a big brokerage, and it looks like they're going to be competing with Open Door and OfferPad. So,
well, most of our listeners are in the real estate industry. So share with us why in any market, being a cash buyer is so powerful. I mean, things that that we know because of being around it.
I think being a cash buyer, it makes you attractive to the seller. You have less contingencies. You can close usually sooner. I think that you're not worried about the lender and whether they're going to perform. Realtors are a dime a dozen, so are lenders. And so you just never know what you're going to get. You're constantly, as a listing agent, you're constantly vetting out the lenders that your offers come from. So I think being a cash buyer helps in that aspect. It eliminates a lot of contingencies and it allows for a faster transaction.
Yeah, well, NAR, I believe it said that when an offer is below list, a seller is 4 times more likely to accept an offer below list from a cash buyer versus a financed buyer, right? And then in a normal market, we know that, again, the NAR...
Not in this market.
No. Yeah, pretty much everywhere in America it's that way right now. But what I'm saying is that puts
cash
you...
and $10,000.
Right, that puts you at the top of the food chain, 10-day close, certainty, right? Especially if, you're getting 10 offers, but 8 of them are financed. Then it does become, a very unique proposition for the seller in that circumstance. I mean, they're always in it to win it for themselves. But
this gives the person that doesn't have cash in their pocket the same cash type of offer.
Right, absolutely. And I think that one of the things that's interesting to me that I feel like Orchard is trying to do, I feel like, Open Door, OfferPad, Zillow offers, I think that it's commoditizing the real estate agent. And if you are a real estate agent, you should be pretty concerned about that. They're claiming to do things, essentially, it's like the cab driver.
Mhm.
And,
I love that metaphor.
right? And so
Yeah.
instead of working for ABC Cab Company, now you're working for Uber or Lyft. Well, if you're a real estate agent,
That's mind-blowing to me.
it is, but see, the difference is there's a big difference between selling a home versus picking someone up and dropping someone off.
A little bit more of a commitment.
Right. And so I think that, as a real estate agent, can you be commoditized? What would it take for you to be commoditized? And these big companies with their hundreds of millions of dollars are figuring it out. And so, all the more reason that if you are in real estate, you need to tighten up your systems. You need to make this your real deal, not just some hobby. And, obviously I'm a huge proponent of using our software because that helps you. It really elevates the game. But there's many ways to do it. Our software is just one of them.
Yeah, well, a lot of these, one of the things that we keep talking about, all these are actually closed platforms, right? Like these are, you have to go work for Opendoor, you have to go work for Zillow, OfferPad, right? And a lot of those are employee situations where one of the biggest things that's different that we're doing is we're bringing these same type of models to the market, and they are completely open source. You do
Right.
not need to change them.
Absolutely.
We empower the broker
Absolutely.
and the lender.
Yeah, so pretty interesting stuff. One thing I found interesting, and I think this kind of segues into the news that you have to share, Elliot, is that with the pandemic, with COVID, with the kind of like the negative things happening in the real estate market, like the pent up evictions that Keith was talking about, what we're seeing is that big tech, big money is still really finding a foothold,
Yeah.
a strong foothold.
So
I know.
Homebot. So
I think,
Homebot.
yeah.
What's going on with Homebot, Elliot?
Homebot was purchased at the end of June by ASG. The thing that I thought was so cool about that is, yes, they had started to get some traction. They had launched, they of course built some tech, and then they raised a seed round of 4.5 to deploy.
That's it.
Yeah, 4.5 million is what they raised to deploy. Yeah, well, and when you look at their subscriptions, it's actually not overly expensive. If you have a large database, it could be pricey. But I know we're all super fans of it, right?
I love Homebot.
Yeah, Homebot's awesome.
Their model, their tech is clean, their interface is really clean. That it's awesome.
Well, I love their goal. What's their mission?
To build wealth. It's
really cool.
to use their system for
Through real estate.
through real estate, right.
For the actual consumer, for sellers.
Well, yeah, it's
for
all over their
homeowners.
site, right? Like one of the things I just know this because of building some of our commerce stuff. One of their videos is 83% of all wealth that is built in retirement comes from real estate. 83%. I was like, dang, that's
I love their VRBO, Airbnb, little
heck yeah, calculator
visualization
essentially,
thing. Yeah, where you can see like what Airbnbs and VRBOs are going for in that area of your home, and how much you can expect to get, and what the costs are to run an Airbnb and in that area, and it's cool information.
Yeah, well, this acquisition, right? What that does is obviously partners them, and because they're not changing the interface. They also announced that they didn't change any of the CEO, COO roles, none of that type of stuff. They kept all the employees, so the operation they liked that was running really smooth. Essentially, it's just an acquisition to infuse capital. So now I really think we're going to start seeing some serious deployment from them over the next couple of months, and really pushing to. Again, their value proposition is one of the most unique ones I have ever seen. It's pretty cool what they offer.
And what do they get bought for?
We don't know what they got bought for. It was an undisclosed amount.
Undisclosed. I'm sure it was quite a bit. I
would think so.
I think it's neat. I'm starting to see a lot of agents that use Homebot. They're integrating it into their existing sites and giving that tool to their clients. It's pretty rad.
One thing about Homebot that's really cool is we can actually integrate right into their software. There's a button there. This was available, I don't know, months ago when I looked at it, but there's a button there that says get a cash offer, and if you're an agent that has one of these iBuyer sites like Zoodealio, you can put the link in there, and goes right to that site. So
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Yeah, I think it's just important, and I think one of the biggest messages I personally want to send is I truly think a lot of these large money is going to continue to come in, and so part of our job as agents, once upon a time, it was, hey, prospecting looks like this, marketing looks like this. And right now it's just that whole instant solution is coming into play. Once upon a time you used to have to sell your car yourself. Now you trade it in, it's immediately done. Right? I mean, it's insane. And I think we're going to continue to see these environments continue to grow. And us as agents need to find a company to align ourselves with to bring that type of value.
A company or a software.
Yeah.
Like Zoodealio.
That value to our clients.
Product plug.
Zoodealio.
Yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Even though the markets are super crazy, I mean, consumers need
It will
agents more than ever. Because of all these new tech platforms, it actually could get confusing for the consumer. If you have 6 different tech platforms and you're actually a savvy consumer, which most of them are these days, you go on to do a simple Google search, like, whoa, this company offers this, and then they don't fully understand it. So being an agent and making sure you educate yourself and dive into the tech world for the real estate aspect of it is going to just be a massive value proposition for finding new clients to offer them things that maybe they didn't even know it was out there, and also for your current clientele. And I think that's going to be huge. Agents right now are needed more than ever because of all this new technology coming forward.
Well, imagine being that agent that you are the gateway to the buyer who's a finance buyer, and they turn you into cash. Right? Like, I mean, that's imagine, and for the people listening to this out there that are agents right now, imagine what it would be like if every buyer that you had in your portfolio was turned to cash. It changes everything.
I think technology didn't show up to put us out of business.
Right.
I think if anything, technology showed up to really put us in business.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think now that's definitely going to be the case. But I think when these first iBuyers came out, and I think sometimes their initial goal was kind of like, well, let's knock some of these.
They wanted to
people
cut out a lot of the bloated fees.
Let's kind of kick some of these people out of here. We'll take it, and then.
Well, I think that's good too, because there's a lot of agents out there who just do it part time, right? And they
there was
they don't
gluttony.
give that service.
There was gluttony in the space.
They don't reinvest into innovation.
That's right.
And that's the problem. I believe the fundamental problem, and the reason why these tech companies are showing up is because agents weren't solving that problem. They're so disenfranchised, which I get it. I understand. I know what it's like. But I think that now that we can really embrace it, and but I want actually one other thing though we didn't hit on that we need to talk about, Keith. Okay. The weather. You had mentioned that, and I find that fascinating. The impact of what's going on.
Yeah, it's cool enough.
Well, now post Hurricane Laura, they've been able to kind of assess the damage that happened in Texas and Louisiana, and it's speculated as of right now, so that maybe this number could go even higher, could reach as high as $12 billion in damage. Now here, that's massive, but here's where the problem's going to lie. It says, with insured storm surge losses estimated, this is for commercial and residential, may only contribute less than $500 million to that total.
What?
So let's say there is.
That doesn't even make that. What?
Because people don't get flood insurance.
Oh.
Or the insurance companies have a way to get out of it. Unfortunately, let's just face the facts. There's probably all kinds of factors.
Deny the claim first, right?
Yeah.
Deny the claim first.
Right.
Yep.
So now you have all this massive property damage that's going to take who knows how long to rebuild. Those people are going to have to find somewhere else to live, that may be in a different part of the state, that may be going to different parts of the
Come
state.
to Arizona, there ain't no hurricanes
some
here.
dry land.
And so that's just going to cause.
Although we did have like a microburst the other day.
Yeah, you get some branches falling on trees and cars.
Right.
And it's just other things like this on top of the rent. It's just a snowball effect. Those people are going to have to find somewhere to go. That's going to cause a little bit more chaos and frenzy in that market. What happens to these people's jobs? So it'll be interesting to see, as I would say another 90 days or less goes by, what the true effects are going to be from one of the largest hurricanes that we've ever seen.
Right. Well, I can remember after Hurricane Katrina, we did have buyers come here from Florida.
Oh yeah,
and
Not Florida.
or Louisiana, and definitely.
Yep, a lot
cool.
of them.
Cool. All right. Well, I believe that's everything, Jay. Why don't you wrap us up? Keep it tight and wrap.
All right, guys. What do you want me to wrap it up with?
I don't know. Say bye on some level.
All
I
right.
don't know.
Well, thank you so much for listening, and like, comment, subscribe. Check us out at Zoodealio.com. Actually, our website's being worked on right now, but it'll be up here in the next couple days. Hope to hear from you guys, and if you want us to talk about a subject, please just shoot us a line, and we'll
or even just comment.
Comment. Yep, absolutely.
Cool.
See you guys later. Bye.
Thanks for
Zoodealio out.
listening.
Thanks
Bye.
for tuning in.
We truly appreciate you taking the time to be with us here today on the iBuyer Experiment podcast. Please remember to like and subscribe so that you're notified when we launch new podcasts. We'll catch you on the next one.
Show you the